Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show. And now, here's Jeff Crilley.
Welcome back to the Jeff Crilley Show. This is the final segment. So we're going to be talking about autism right now with Gina Marx. She is the Executive Director of the Autism Treatment Center. Welcome to the Jeff Crilley Show.
Thank you. I'm actually the Executive Director of the Roundup for Autism.
I apologize.
Which benefits the Autism Treatment Centers of Texas. We're basically the sort of the fundraising mechanism. A lot of what we raise goes to like the daily needs of the children and adults that the Autism Treatment Centers of Texas serve. Awesome. So Anna Hunley is actually our executive director of all three centers.
Okay, I apologize.
No, that's not a problem. Actually, yeah, her job is overwhelming. I'd prefer mine, so I'm good in this spot where I'm at. But we have three centers. Our largest one is in Dallas.
Okay.
We service about 187 full-time that actually live in group homes and on campus. Our school is there, our therapy rooms are there, and then we service about 3,000 in various therapies throughout the state of Texas and surrounding states out of that clinic. Wow. And there's one in Fort Worth that just opened up in June of 2012, and then we have one in San Antonio as well that has group homes and a school.
Okay, so tell us more about what happens at your centers.
Well, basically, we do, ABA therapy, all the therapies that children with autism need. We also, we look at these kids as individuals because that's truly what they are. The autism spectrum is so huge, and no two kids are alike, just like you and I are not alike. So what the center does is it looks to those kids as individuals and find out the way they test and the way they do these therapies. Some are non-traditional therapies like art, music, gardening, cooking, things that you wouldn't expect that actually make the kids tick, and it changes their behaviors.
Wow.
Yeah.
Let me bring in Amber Rodgers. She's a good friend, and she is an advocate for the centers. Amber, why don't you share your experiences?
Well, I was invited to attend the event, and I didn't know a whole lot about autism the first time I attended the event, but I will tell you, it just touched my soul because I saw what they were doing for these children. And one of the things that the founder actually does is when you go to the Roundup for Autism, the charity event that we'll be doing next Saturday, he has people stand up, and he basically says, okay, for those of you standing, that's how many people are affected. So the numbers are just unreal. I think it's one
in 68 children are diagnosed.
1 in 68 children, Jeff. And when you see these people stand, you realize and you watch these families and how it impacts them. It impacts their relationships. I mean, a lot of times these families end up divorced because they don't have help. And so to have the center come in and really take this off of those parents or just help them and have a place for them to be supported, I love what they do.
Wow.
It's a huge.
Well, let's talk about how people can get involved. So are there tickets to the event?
Yes, actually, it's actually what we call Roundup Weekend.
Okay.
And it used to be, we used to jam a lot into the weekend. But so we do our kickoff party, which is basically our media party and sort of a sponsored thank you. A lot of our guests that come in from Houston and surrounding areas. So we have live music, and it's open buffet, and people just hang out, and then on Friday and Saturday we used to do a parade and rodeo in the stockyards, but we lost a huge sponsor, and it didn't make financial sense anymore. So we moved our sort of western side of the event to Alvarado, and it's a 2-day sorting. Actually, sorters come in and they actually pay to sort. So that's how we raise money at that event. And then the Pegasus Ball is at the Fairmont on Saturday the 17th. Starts at 6:30 p.m. And we're actually turning, this year's theme is the art of autism. We've done everything from Great Gatsby to Hollywood Nights to East Meets West. And I chose this theme this year because I wanted to showcase what's happening at the center. all the artwork that's coming out of it, just some amazing singers, dancers. It's just tremendous what they do for the kids. And I thought, you know what? It's really about them. We're raising money for them, and they need to be showcased. And so we're basically turning the Fairmont into an urban street fair. But it's also a black tie event, so it's going to be really edgy and kind of crazy. But it's cocktails, live and silent auctions, seated dinner, casino, urban street fair, you name it, we do it that night. It's a blast. It's really
my favorite event that we do here in Dallas, and
Really?
I get to go to a lot of events. So, and you know, when I leave here, I'm going to get my dress for the event. So
Awesome.
Awesome. So, Amber, you can vouch. This is like if you only have a few events that you want to go to this year, this is one of them.
this is definitely one of them. And, you know, knowing that you're doing something to give back. And like she said, I mean, you get to see what these kids are doing and what the centers are doing and how it just really changes the dynamic for the whole entire family. It's awesome.
Yeah.
Well, Gina, you mentioned some different therapies, art and gardening. Can you describe what that does?
Okay, so, you know, I volunteered for this event. I've co-chaired this event for 20 years. And I was getting ready to step down, and they said no. So they hired me full-time, and here I still am. So it's my 22nd year. And going to the center and volunteering and getting ready for the event, which is this 3-day event, and now we do events all year long. But, you know, you used to hear children with autism have breakdowns. They have meltdowns. And, you know, you'd hear a lot of screaming and crying and headbanging and, you know, people just trying to calm them down. And it's sensory overload, you know. And so when I go to the center now, maybe I'll hear a little scream here and there, but for the most part, they're happy. You know, they're creating. I mean, Lisa, one of the consumers there, has been there since she was 5, and she's 27, and she actually lives and breathes there. I mean, that's her home. She's such an amazing artist. She's donated a couple of pieces to our live auction, and they've gone for $9,000 to $10,000 each.
Wow.
There's murals all over the walls of the center that she's personally painted. The Fairmont is one of our biggest sponsors. They do not just for our event, but they do so much for the Autism Treatment Center. I mean, they do Easter parties. They deliver Thanksgiving for like 200 families. They do a pool party on the terrace for the kids. And realizing that organic eating kind of helps some of the symptoms, they bought the kids a greenhouse. I want to say 5 years ago, and taught them how to sow their own seeds and cultivate it. And so you've got some kids out there that used to just be in their own space, miserable, and now they're out there watering, gardening, seeing things grow. And then what do you do with all the food?
Right.
So the Fairmont chefs come in and teach the kids how to cook every 3 months. And now we have what we call our Tiger Cafe, and they actually can cater. I mean, it's
awesome.
pretty amazing.
That's awesome.
It's pretty amazing.
Amber, have you had a chance to experience any of this?
You know, I have actually met some of the families, and I've stayed really, really close to them, and truly seeing the kids come out of their shell, and they have an opportunity to soar versus just feeling trapped in their own mind. It's unbelievable.
So are there events throughout the year that people can, if somebody's out of town and can't take advantage of this?
Absolutely. They can go to our website. It's roundupforautism.org, and that's all spelled out. So it's roundup for FOR autism.org to purchase tickets for any of our events. We do a lot of promoting on Facebook, where you can purchase tickets there. If they can't make it to the event, there's a donate now section for almost all of our events. We do events, like I said, all year long. Some in Houston. We do a barbecue cook-off, a chili cook-off. Those are in Houston. We do a fashion show. Benzario Couture has been an amazing sponsor for us and shown all the collections that they've been showing in New York Fashion Week and Paris Fashion Week. So, and they're actually there right now. So I'm excited for them. But yeah, all through the year, that's what I was hired for, because the need is so great that this one weekend just doesn't cut it anymore. Wow. And so we need constant funding. The Autism Treatment Center probably gets between 1,500 and 2,000 phone calls a month.
Really?
From families wanting services or wanting diagnostics or just answers. So,
what are some statistics on, like number of families or percentage of families?
well, it does not. There is no demographic. There is no cultural issue. It does not discriminate.
It does not.
At all. I was asked that question by Native Americans too. Like, well, how many Native Americans?
Everybody.
It's everybody. The only discriminatory part about autism is that 3 out of 4 are boys, which is frightening. So who's going to take care of our girls, right?
Right.
So it's just it doesn't discriminate at all. When I started as a volunteer, in I want to say 96 or 95, it was 1 in 10,000 children. Now it's 1 in 68.
What do you think has happened? Is it environmental? Are we just better able to diagnose?
I think it's a little bit of everything. I think better diagnostics. I think environmental, certainly. I think a lot of the cell phone, there's just everything in your food, all the hormones and GMOs and all of it. What's in your dirt. I mean, when I was a kid, I lived on an acre and a half and I was eating dirt. I know I was,
Right.
in my backyard, but now you're eating dirt and you don't know what's in it. And some of it's predisposed. Some of it's genetic.
If somebody does not know a family who has autism in the family, it is all consuming sometimes for the family, is it not?
It depends on the severity of the child and the degree of autism. I mean, I have friends that have Asperger's that do what you do for a living. I mean, they're amazing. They're on radio shows and TV shows. They're very focused, probably some of the best employees you'll ever have. And then you've got, kids that are so severe that it tears the families apart. And insurance companies are finally getting a grip on this is really an epidemic. We really need to start focusing on families, so there's a little bit more help there. But 10 years ago, these families were just going broke trying to pay for therapies and find answers.
It's still very, very expensive. I mean, and what she's saying about the spectrum is so true, because I have friends that reached out and some of them I didn't even know their children had it.
Yeah.
Wow. We've got less than a minute left, so give us the website one more time.
It's roundupforautism.org, and you can like us on Facebook at Roundup for Autism as well. You can also like ATC. It's the Autism Treatment Centers of Texas.
Awesome. Thank you. Go to that website right now and make sure you buy your tickets. And we'll see you next week.
All right. Thanks, Jeff. Thanks, Amber.